Guys, thanks for taking some time to join me. Take me through what it's like going through this offense right now and going against the defense.
Every day, iron sharpens iron, and like for me personally, going against like guys like Walley is truly like a special gift for me because like I've been going against him for 3 years. So being able to sharpen that iron for him and for myself, it's like there's nothing better than that. If you can play against the best corner and you can do that every day and get reps, you know what I'm saying, learn, grow, succeed, sometimes fail, and then just come back the next day. So
different environment for you this year.
Very different, yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I think Coach Fleck and his staff are doing an amazing job of putting us in new environments and different situations for us to adapt. Like we were practicing in the stadium today, and personally for me, it's a new spot, and I get to play with my team and what where they've been playing for a few years, and this is my first time in the home stadium. So I'm doing my best to get used to it, and these guys are rallying up with me and making sure that I can do my best with them on this team and run the offense to the best of our ability.
It seems that you've acclimated very well into this team. Why has that been able to work for you?
Yeah, I think it's honestly, I give all the credit to my teammates for that. Anyone can come in here, and it's a decision for the team to trust and take someone in that quickly within a few months, as they did, and I'm very grateful for that. And it's super challenging to lead new guys, and they've made it a lot of fun, and it's challenging as it is. I'm having a blast every single day doing it with these guys.
What are some of the characteristics he brings to the table to help you guys really bring him in? Because this is,
Well, obviously the first one is a leader, and and as him coming in, like you can see that off the back. Like he's a great leader, commander, takes the offense by the ropes, and like also, but you get to see like being around him. Like he's a funny guy. He's cool. He's cool to be around, nice to be around, and he makes you better truly in every aspect as a person and as a football player. So he's just really nice to have him here.
We talk about, and we hear people talk about as well, how you have a command of the offense. What does that look like for you?
Checks in the huddle, like, oh, alert for this. Oh yeah, you're the hot on this. Like just pre-snap, just seeing what the defense can possibly do and make sure everybody's on the same page. So like we're not wasting the reps at practice and in the game where we're not wasting the play, because we're gonna get those back.
Let's talk about technology a little bit.
Yeah.
You get to hear your coach for a little bit.
Very cool.
How does that change? I mean, you are obviously very successful. Now all of a sudden you have communication. How do you think that's going to change the way you play the game?
Yeah, it's really cool having kind of a voice in your head, talking to you at the play. It makes things very efficient as well, especially for a transfer coming in, not having to learn, the whole signal playbook, but also being able to communicate through what you're hearing in your ear to your teammate in the huddle. I think that number one, like I said, efficiency. Number two is being able to talk about situations as well, like with Coach Harbaugh, with the amount of time that we're allotted on the headset. It's like, hey, 3rd and 4 here, remember to check the sticks and be alert for this coverage. That's something that I can, relate to my guys before, we get in the huddle and after we break the huddle, but also gives me good reminders like, hey, this is what we're seeing here. All right, cool, let's go.
You taking your offensive line out?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
You including the receivers and the tight ends in that group as well?
We've done some fun stuff so far. Yeah.
Tell me, what have you done?
This summer and spring we did some trips down to Georgia. We did. It was very fun. I thought it was very fun. You could ask Daniel. We did a lot of stuff. We trained. We went to the lake. We went to the aquarium one day. We did some community outreach in my high school. That was a lot of fun. And I sent some of the O-line down to Frisco a couple weeks ago for an O-line camp down there at Masterminds, and they had a blast doing that. And I'm going to be, doing as much as I can for my guys while I'm here, because I have fun doing it as well, giving back to the guys, and hopefully I help the O-line out with dinner sometimes, and hopefully they protect me. So I want to get on their good side if that's possible.
It sounds good. You want to make sure he's on the good side so you can get the football.
No, I love it. Yeah, it's lovely having him here. I mean, even just seeing at the receiver group and the quarterback group, just meeting more outside of football, and a lot of times we've forgiven, and just going out to dinner, just the other day, or not the other day, but just not too long ago, we went to Hibachi and just enjoyed a nice little meal, just all 15, 20 of us. So it was stuff like that is just really connecting us.
Heck, I need to get on campus so I can go to dinner with you guys. So thanks a lot for taking some time.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of camp and a great season.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Corey Hetherman's with us now. First time you've been a Power 5 defensive coordinator. What made this opportunity the right one for you?
Yeah, I think just, I've been lucky. I've been fortunate, worked with really good coaches, worked with really good people. And I've been lucky. A lot of players I've had have been really, they play hard, they play fast. And, it's helped me kind of get to where I am right now. And it's, the people around me have, been blessed with that.
This is our first chance to really watch your defense. Give us a sense of what we are in store for. How would you describe your defensive approach?
Number one, we want to play fast. We want our guys to take shots. We want to play fast every single play. We want to swarm to the football. Number two, we want to be physical. We want to be stout at the point of attack. We want to stop the run. We want to try to make people one-dimensional. We want to try to stay ahead of the sticks every play. But if we play physical and we play fast, that's what the DNA of our defense has to be.
I think one of the things that really jumped out of practice today was the way the linebackers really flow and also are disciplined and stay back for some of the cutbacks. How have you seen them progress going through camp?
I think they're doing a really good job right now, and I think the biggest thing is that, it all starts up front. If we can get off the ball, if we can knock the line of scrimmage back, reestablish the line of scrimmage, I think that allows our guys to play a little bit faster and be able to flow and leverage the ball. And then, the second thing is just understanding where their support is. It allows them to set things up. It allows them to influence some of the blocks, and it allows them to understand where they can fit, where they can take a shot, which I think a lot of times, just allows them to play a little bit faster and, have a little bit of awareness what's going on around them. And I think right now, in the spring, maybe didn't see that all the time. Right now, they're starting to get that a little bit better, which has been, really good so far early in camp.
Coach, take me back when you talked about the D-line being able to influence blocks to help the linebackers. Can you break that down a little bit for us?
So the biggest thing, we want to play fast up front. We want to get off the ball. Maybe launch technique. We need to make sure our guys are hitting their target. They're playing fast. They're playing violent, good pad level. And, that's one of the things that's starting to show up more and more. I think we're starting to play faster. We're starting, our ground the pads is getting better. And that's the thing every single day, the details, when we go down there in the Indy and just trying to focus on that. And that's been the thing that if you took that from practice 1 in the spring to practice 3 today, that's been the number one thing I've been excited about. We're going to keep going in that direction right now, keep building on that.
You talked about the guys up front. You talked about the guys in the middle, those linebackers. How about that secondary? How are they coming along?
I really liked what they were doing today. They're starting to get a little bit more awareness of situational football, starting to get a little bit better feel for what we're doing, as we disguise things and as we, where there may be voids in the defense or some of the things they have to cover up. Our eye progression, our eye discipline. Today, I thought that was much better than it was the first 2 practices. And, that's really helped our guys, start to close the gap and close in on things, pre-snap, kind of get to where they need to be. We're working on it. And some of those guys, we didn't have them in the spring. So getting them really working together 3 practices now and rolling them around with different people, I'm excited what they've done early on.
Coach, I found your background really interesting, particularly that you were a quarterback in college. How does having played on the offensive side of the ball help you as someone who's trying to stop offenses?
It's been so long ago now. I don't remember it. I think just, how's the offense trying to attack you? What are they looking for? Where, what are some of the things that we might tip, or what are they looking for from us pre-snap? Different areas they're going to attack, different areas of the field, personnel driven. Those are just the things we're constantly trying to game plan, trying to figure out, trying to take away. If we could take those away and make the offense one-dimensional, or, maybe take what they're good at away and put the ball in someone else's hands. That's always what we're trying to look at. Same things, way back then from the few things I remember.
If it makes you feel any better, college was longer ago for Howard and me than it was for you. Corey Hetherman, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And here with Gophers head coach PJ Fleck, after watching his team go through practice. We were talking about the 50 wins and how quickly you've gotten to that milestone and winning the bowl game last year, which is something you guys have made a habit of here in terms of winning bowls. I know the overall result of the season maybe wasn't exactly what you wanted, but how do you carry the momentum of winning a bowl game into this season?
Yeah, I think that, first of all, we were able to go to a bowl game because of our academics, which shows a lot about our culture and academically, athletically, socially, and spiritually. And then you go out and win your 5th bowl game out of really 6 years that we were technically eligible for doing it. Says a lot about the program. I think when we look back on last year and when people talk about having a disappointing year and you still win a bowl game, we've taken the standard and we put it a little bit higher than when we got here. But I know our guys weren't satisfied with that. There were 2 really disappointing finishes last year with Northwestern and Illinois. And I think if those 2 games went differently, I think the narrative about us might be a little bit different. So we're talking 3 total seconds in the season from a narrative going one way versus a narrative going a different way. And I really like this football team. they got a big crack on their shoulder, and we look forward to an exciting 2024.
Now, let's talk a little bit about this team and fast forward. You had good practice today. You went for quite a while on a really hot day. What are you looking to accomplish at this point in practice?
Well, we got 2 more days of 90 degrees, and it drops back down in the 70s, so we got to acclimate to that weather pretty good while we have it. But I'm really proud of the progress we made. This is a team that's played a lot of football, and we retained and brought back 16 of 17 eligible starters. So these guys know how to practice, but we have a lot of guys that we need to be able to bring that depth up, and I think that's why I went a little bit longer today. But I like the depth of the football team. We got a lot of guys that have played a ton of football for us, got a lot of guys back who understand what we want, and then we want to take the next right step.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the passing game. It wasn't where you needed it to be last year. What makes you think, based on what you've seen to this point, that it's better? What have you seen that stood out?
Yeah, there's always reasons. There's no excuses, but there's reasons. And then in the offseason, it's up to head coaches. That's our job, to fix those reasons. And I thought we did that. There's a lot of it has to do with health and the health of the football team and what we're able to do. And then as you go through a season, whether it's the NFL or college, your team's always telling you what they can do and what they're not capable of doing. That's not a negative. They're just showing you, and you've got to be able to put the square peg in the square hole. And we adjusted our offense a little bit more to what we were capable of doing towards the end of the year, and might not have been pretty, but when we feel like we have all of our weapons and we're healthy, and what Coach Harbaugh has done with the offense in the offseason, I feel really good about where we are. I feel really good about the quarterback position and a lot of the other positions on offense as well.
You mentioned the quarterback position. Pretty clear that Max is the guy. Give us a sense for what you've seen from him to this point and what stood out.
Well, he's exceeded my expectations, and anytime you bring a transfer in and you're kind of slotting him to be the guy, your expectations are pretty high to begin with. He's constantly curious. He's a great leader. He had to come in here and really be the guy right away, so we needed somebody that was mature enough to handle that, and I thought he's done a great job of that. He was an instant leader the minute he walked in here, and his leadership was infectious, and you can see that he controls a whole football team already in short 7 months.
You were talking a little bit about the injuries last year, Darius Taylor and Cody Lindenberg probably front and center in terms of the 2 stars. Let's talk about Darius here. When he was out there, he was absolutely phenomenal. You always quote our buddy Mace's line, you need a pair and a spare.
That's right.
I'm really impressed with what you've done in the portal. I mean, you've kind of got a pair and a couple spares, I would say. I mean, it feels like the depth at that position, just outstanding. What are you seeing, not just from Darius, who looked great, but from that whole group?
Yeah, Coach Mason, legendary coach here, said what you just said, need a pair and a spare, and we've kind of added, but you need some air for the pair and the spare, just in case they get flat. So it's not about them just rolling off. It's about them actually getting flat and repairing it. So I really like the depth we have. Darius is obviously well documented as a very good player, very young player, a lot to learn. Marcus Major coming in from Oklahoma, number 24. It's nice to see 24 back out there, that type of number, and he's a little taller than the old 24 we used to have, but he's provided a lot of depth. And then C.A. Bangura coming from Ohio, and then JoJo Nubin, who's, I mean, he had one of the most sneaky years out of anybody over the last few years, and just happy to have him back as well. So we feel like we have depth at that position. We have some young guys we really like too, but we feel like we have 4 guys who have size, who all give us something a little bit different. You know, in the past, we've always looked out there, a running back was about this big, but he was maybe the greatest running back ever at that big. And now we've got some size. We've got some guys that can help us in the pass game as well, which opens up our offense a little bit.
Defensive side, you guys had set such a standard. I mean, really just phenomenal for a couple of years there. It dropped off a bit last year. You've got a new defensive coordinator in Corey Hetherman. How different is this defense going to look schematically than it looked a year ago?
Well, we kind of went back to the same well, you know, when we're talking about the Schiano tree, and every coordinator I've ever had, whether Western Michigan or Minnesota, has always come from that tree, and this is no different. I have a lot of respect for him and what he's done, and the defensive football he's taught me all the way back to Rutgers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and when I became a head coach, we wanted that type of philosophy. It's going to have Corey Hetherman's own stamp on it, that's for sure, but it's going to be within the same confines of what we're doing. I think you just want to make sure that the rosters you have right now, if you're going to make a wholesale schematic change, you better make sure that it fits the roster that you're retaining, because so many players have reasons to leave now. And if there's a reason where I don't fit in the system and somebody's telling them that, they're going to be gone. So we really like our system. We just have to be able to play it better. There was a multitude of reasons of why we didn't play well last year. Part of it was Cody Lindenberg not being in there. We were not the deepest team last year, and we did everything we could to be able to reload that defense this year and create a lot of depth where if you do lose one, it doesn't hurt you as bad.
You've talked a couple times about retention and how important that is, and people talk a lot about the portal, and of course the issue with the portal is it goes both ways. You've made some really nice additions here via the portal, a couple who we've already talked about, but the other issue is keeping guys here, and that's the thing that really stood out to me is you really didn't lose much at all in terms of key contributors in the portal. What's the balancing act there right now as a head coach in terms of kind of how you think about the portal and the two-way door that it can be?
Well, I'd like to be able to say it's pretty stress-free, and you just kind of kick back, throw your feet up. Everybody's happy. Everybody seems kumbaya. Everybody's like, yeah, we're going to stay. Don't worry about it, coach. It's very unique. You know, it's a GM-type role. It's a salary cap moving into that type role. It's a head coaching role. You're managing all these personalities. But I'm really proud of our guys because I think we value a lot of things and don't make money the only thing we value. And I'm not saying other teams do. I'm saying what we do in Minnesota, that if money's going to be the number one thing you value, you're probably not going to stay here very long, nor are you probably going to come here. Our players make a lot of money, but they're probably not the highest paid guys in the conference or in the country. So they've got to stay for all different types of reasons. And I truly believe it's the life program, the life culture that we create where transactional can coexist with the transformational. And I think that's what's unique in college football. Everybody's got a chance to do how they want to do it and what fits their institution and their university. And I feel like we have a really good balance, and we get to still select all those kids that come in here. And so it's more of that selection and fit being way more important than it's ever been.
Last question for you. Really exciting opener with North Carolina coming here, playing on a Thursday night. What are the biggest things you need to see from your team to know they'll be ready between now and then?
Well, we talked about the offseason, this competition word, and everybody throws that around, but we talked about you got to be really good at competing within yourself first. Then you got to be, as a team, you got to compete with each other, and then you'll be ready to go against somebody else. But if we can actually have consistency this year, I think we're going to be a really good football team. And if we can consistently be competitive with everything that we possibly do, I feel like this team can be really good.
PJ Fleck, always a pleasure. Thanks a lot for your time, and really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming by. Row the boat, Sky Mile, go Gophers.
Offensive coordinator Greg Harbaugh Jr. with us now. And, Coach, let's start by looking back on a year ago. The offense, I know, wasn't quite where you wanted it to be. What were the biggest things you looked to upgrade here in the offseason as you try to get back to being the offense that this program wants?
Well, after every season, you go through a self-scout and you look at what you did well, what you didn't do well. And the number one thing I thought that we needed to do, it obviously because it came in the transfer portal, was get our starting quarterback. That obviously came to fruition throughout the recruiting process, and we ended up getting Max, and I believe that was a big addition. That was the number one thing, just with personnel. But, you know, Coach Fleck always looks at it from a personnel, coaching, and scheme situation, and I think our scheme was good. You know, I thought we did a really good job of putting our guys in the best position to make plays, but it was one of those things where, you know, we had to be better at the quarterback position at times, and that falls on me. And that's one thing that we've really addressed this offseason in spring ball and then going into training camp this fall. But I'm really excited about how the guys just attacked the winter conditioning, attacked spring ball, and then attacked the summer. And I think that's incredibly important when you're working to develop, you know, an elite offense. Is how well are they going to play and work when the lights aren't on. You know, when you aren't playing on those 12 Saturdays, you know, in the fall. And I think those guys have really attacked the offseason that way.
One of the traits that really stood out in watching Max today was he just seemed in command, seemed to have a really good grasp of what you're doing. What were some of the other traits that sold you on him as you went into the portal and said, okay, we've got to find the guy? What were you looking for in the guy?
So from the first conversation with him on the phone, I mean, it was clear he's an incredible leader. You know, we always talk about that as superpower. Superpower is his leadership ability. And that's one thing that he got on even on his official visit. You know, we sat him down with about 10 guys on our team, and they dinner with him. We spent time with him, and really it goes down to, like, you look at his family, how his family is, how his parents are, and how he was raised. You know he's going to be a great young man. But then when you look at how that official visit went and how the players gravitated towards him, and when he sat down with them and talked about how he was going to lead them, and that's what they wanted. They wanted that guy to be able to lead the entire organization, and that's what he does the best. He is in command, and I do believe he will play well this this year. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he attacks every single day, because every day is a new challenge. Coming from the FCS, it's just every single day he's going to look at, you know, what might be challenging or what can he take from New Hampshire to be able to put into play here. And I think that's been the biggest thing, I think, with him. He's just really grown every single day and become comfortable and confident with his teammates.
The ability to turn on the film and understand that he can make all the throws, he can command an offense, is that what takes it over the top for you guys when you're evaluating, you're trying to find that guy that's going to lead you?
Yes, I have never, you know, I felt very comfortable. You know, I think this is my 16th year coaching, and I really enjoyed going into the position meeting every day, just because I know, number one, he's going to continue to challenge me to be the best that I can, because he's so mentally strong. He's always locked in from that standpoint. I always want to give him something new that he can learn from, and he can grow from. I just love, like, that. You guys have used the word command twice. That's the biggest thing you see just from him before the play, at the line of scrimmage. You know, anything he does, he's always in control, and he's always in command of his teammates in the offense.
I thought there was a time in practice where where you guys were throwing the back shoulder throw, and you said, hey, now you get every rep, every rep. What's behind forcing him to get every rep?
Well, repetition is the mother of all learning, and he's one of those guys that he needs to feel the behavior that he has. It might be a particular look that he wants to continue to see when we're going against, you know, the scout team, when we're going in walkthroughs. Like, he might want to see that. He might want to be challenged with a different pressure, you know, to be able to get into the right protection call, those types of things. But then when it comes to the field, like, if he's struggling with a particular throw, and that's one thing, like, you're throwing a ball to Daniel Jackson, that might be a little bit different than some other guys he's thrown to in the past. And so I kind of want him to continue to feel that behavior, how that arm is, how the ball's coming off of his index finger, and all that type of thing. I think that was one thing. And then you obviously saw when he took all, I think, 10 or 11 straight reps, you know, he started to really put the ball right on that back shoulder, right where we want it.
Real quick, Coach.
Yes, sir.
How about the offensive line? We can't let you get out of here without talking about that group as well.
Brian Callahan does an awesome job. You know, those guys have really gelled. I think the one thing going against our defense every day, they present certain challenges. Coach Hetherman does a great job of putting us in particular looks, might be pressures, might be base looks, might be movement up front, things along those lines, where I think he does a really good job. Well, it challenged our offensive line in the spring, and I think they took that really to heart, and they really worked very hard in the summer to be able to work on those particular looks, work on looks that we might face during the season. And they've come out in the first 3 days, and, you know, obviously there's going to be technique errors every single day. We want to clean that up. That's our job. But as far as understanding the scheme and understanding what we want to do, they've been outstanding.
Good-looking group up front,
yes,
obviously one with a lot of experience.
Yes,
Coach,
sir.
really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Danny, Justin, thanks for spending a little time with me. Practice 3, how you guys feeling in this new system?
I like it a lot. You know, I love playing with the guys out there and getting to experience a new system with, you know, guys you've played with an old system with, and just getting to fly around out there. A long summer, not having pads on today, first day of shoulder pads. You know, it's football again, so it's really nice.
Yeah. How about for you?
Like he said, it's just a pleasure going out there and playing with the guys. You know, Coach Hetherman bringing that fire. Everybody's just, excited to be out there running a new system. So any day we get to compete with each other, we're all happy.
When you talk about bringing the fire, tell us more about that. Coach brings the fire.
A big thing he stand on is excitement. So no matter how the day is going, anytime anybody make a play, everybody's on the sideline getting happy, excited. And that just brings the whole mood of the defense up all the time. So things like that.
Defense wasn't where it was or where you wanted to be last year. What are some of the things you guys have learned when you look back and see and do a self-scout of what happened last year?
Yeah, you're looking back at last year, like you said, it wasn't where we wanted to be, and it wasn't where we needed it to be too. And so you take a look back, and it's almost kind of nice coming into a new system here because you're learning new things, and instead of correcting old habits, you're learning new habits, and it kind of just eases your mind and allows new people coming into the system, whether it's transfers, freshmen, or guys like us that have been here 4 and 5 years. Like everybody's learning together. It makes it really easy to play together. Everybody's kind of clicking at the same pace.
How have you seen the program change as you guys have spent some time here? How's the program developed?
You want to answer that?
No, this is on you. This is on you.
This is on me.
It's on you. You're the one that's getting in trouble for this one.
Since I've been here, well, Coach Fleck, he's really a consistent person. So it's been really consistent. So for the change, outside the players, really nothing much really changes. Coach Fleck really laid a foundation where when new guys come in, no matter where they come from, we know what the standard is, and it's our job to uphold the standard to anybody who comes into our program.
What are some of the things that you want to do personally on the field to play at your best?
Become a more vocal leader. I know a lot of times on the field I tend to become more quiet and to myself, but I know when I use my voice more and get the younger guys up using their voice more, the whole defense plays a lot better.
Both of you guys get a unique perspective to take a look at Max from the quarterback position. And what's this offense look like with him controlling it?
It's cool to watch, Max come in and get a feel for our offense. Obviously, he was very successful where he was the past couple years, but the way he's come in and really taken control and brought some leaders with him on the offense too. We've heard a lot of voices chime in on the offense, and you see more than just one guy leading, two guys leading, but you got somebody or maybe a couple people in every position that are really taking a leadership role, and it's cool to see the offense clicking like that.
Well, I'm looking forward to continuing to watch both you guys stay healthy once you have a successful season. Thanks a lot for taking some time.
I appreciate that. Thank you.